This week on the last Jules and JJ show of the year, JJ goes to the parks and absolutely throws stuff everywhere. A lot of each way plays there for him, so get involved in that. I'm at Ballarat, bit of maybe thunderstorm activity around, so just treading warily. A lot different to what JJ's doing. We go to Ascot again for the third of the Group 1s over there for the Northerly Stakes. Real interesting take there on maybe the railway and the 3-year-old race. Might not being the form line in that race. Map really important, I think, over at Ascot. Pin the tail. JJ got one back, so it's now 12-8. And this week we stay over in Adelaide in the last race. He gives us a horse, so it gives him another opportunity to get one back. We might even make it worth 4. It's 12-8, so it could be 12-all if he gets it there. Let's have a crack. Jules and JJ show. Hello and welcome to the Jules and JJ show. My name is Julian Valence, joined as always in the Adelaide Hills by James Jordan. JJ, how's the week been?
It's been all right. Had a bit of rain a few days ago, and I've got quite a few foot abscesses that have popped up around the horses. So never a good time, never a relaxing time. But other than that, the week's been all right. Last show, I've got the party pies ready to crack out after this.
And you got how's your teeth going? When's that dentist appointment with your tooth abscesses? You cast, don't you?
Tomorrow. No, it's all right, but I've definitely got to get the nose X-rayed. I reckon I have broken it, so it's not quite healing up as I would have liked. But that's what happens when you get headbutted by a 600-kilogram mare.
Yeah, and living in squalor. All right, let's get to the track intel. All right, start us off. You can go first. Are we on the parks or Morphettville?
No, we're on the parks. You've obviously done a lot of homework for this one.
Beautiful. No, I don't need to because you're the man.
We're on the parks track. Rails out. That's the first thing to note. Rails plus 7 metres. The track is a good 4. Sort of scattered showers forecast, but I think it'll be in the 4 range. Does dry pretty well. The wind's 30 to 35 kilometre southwesterly, which is a normal sort of wind direction there at the parks. Don't think it'll have an effect on the inner track. I reckon the intel is that the track will race fairly. We've seen the last few meetings with the rail being out. They have come wide in the straight, which does give those swoopers a chance. If anything, I'd probably say I'd almost rather back a swooper than a leader, but I think if they're good enough, they can certainly win from anywhere. So I'm doing it on a fair track. Normally with the rail out, I'd penalise the back markers, but not this meeting on Saturday. I reckon it will race very well.
Okay, so that's the intel for the Parks track on Saturday, punters. In Victoria, we go to Ballarat for obviously Ballarat Cup Day. True position the entire circuit. Here's the tricky part. Look, beautiful conditions, hot conditions after a lot of rain early in the week. We're probably going to get to a good 4, even a good 3 probably by Friday at some stage. Then we're expecting maybe up to 15 mils Friday night and then again 15 mils on race day. So, look, it could be a good 4. But I think we're probably going to end up on the soft range. This is the trickiest situation we find. Usually last week we knew it was going to be really wet throughout the meeting. That's fine. You can bet with confidence because you look for wet trackers. On a meeting like what we've got on Saturday, we just got to be really careful around the Thursday and betting early Friday. Nearly just have to wait till race day to see how much it gets. I hate it when it starts dry and then you get into the soft range or soft range back to good range. That's when I think you get the most variables in horse racing. So we need to be careful. The intel, with the chute up to 1,200 metres at Ballarat, pretty even there, but I am bonusing leaders. So I just think, especially if the track stays a little bit drier, they might be off and gone, the leaders. So plus. And the circle, I want to be on speed. I think that's a major advantage. 1,400 metres plus Ballarat this week. That is my starting point. That's the track intel for the 2 meetings. Okay, JJ, the Group 1 set. We stay over in Perth. It's the third of the Group 1s. We now have the 1,800 metre weight for age race called the Northerly Stakes, formerly the Kingston Town, formerly the Fruit and Veg, formerly I've got no idea, but has had some names. Just as a starting point, you can see the prices behind me. Sort of PointsBet at the moment sort of have the 3-year-old Storyville the favourite just ahead of Attrition, and then there's a bit of a gap to a few others as you can see behind me. From a map perspective, I don't think there's much speed at all here, so you're going to have to try and find horses that might be able to have great turns of foot and also can put themselves in a position probably forward of midfield. You know, horses like Maraschino probably goes forward. I think Admiration Express probably rolls forward. I know it's a bit of a murky gate and the blinkers are off, but I think they still roll forward. Sox Nation, I think, will now go forward. It's got to just about be it's big time. Bustler can settle sort of in the first 6 or 7. I also think Attrition from that gate would want to settle in the first 6 or 7. And the 3-year-old Storyville, this is the interesting one, JJ. I know this horse likes to find its feet and then get back. I just think with the weight allowance, I'd be putting this horse leaders back. I just don't think you can give these horses, with the way this race is going to be run, too much of a head start. So that's what I would be suggesting from gate 1. It might not happen, but that's how I'm predicting it. What do you got from a map perspective, and anything you might want to launch into for the Northerly Stakes for the punters?
Yeah, it's interesting with Storyville. I don't. It was a bit iffy. It can be iffy out, especially if it's in a tight spot. I'm not sure if Pike, who generally likes to let them balance up anyway, I'd be surprised if he jumps and absolutely fires it out. But I'm with you. Like, it's got the light weight. If it's 7 back the pegs, like, it doesn't really get to use that well. It's reliant on a lot of other things happening. In fact, the map is the most interesting part of this. A lot of the chances, I mean, there's 5 horses, I think, in single figures. Light Infantry Man will need luck from that wide gate. Democracy Manifest will need luck from an inside gate. The Storyville will need luck from an inside gate. Light Infantry Man obviously drawn wide, so it sort of comes out of it. And Super Smink will also need luck from an inside gate. So you've sort of got most of the horses needing almost an ounce of luck, a fair bit of luck. The one that I think won't need the luck is Attrition. You mentioned the Railway. That was a pretty average form race. I know the horses that you want to be with out of that were unlucky. Like, who knows where Democracy Manifest would have finished. I reckon he would have gone, close-ish. Light Infantry Man, not sure. He was probably a victim of being a bit one-paced. Gets the minus jock change on Saturday. But so it's hard to pot those horses out of the race, but you can pot the race because it didn't go any good. I think Attrition is the horse to follow. It comes out of a different form line. It is racing well. First up in Adelaide, I thought, it's here. It must not be going that well. It's had a really good prep. So it is racing well. Drawn gate 5 is perfect. I think, as you said, it'll settle in the first 6, and that will give it a big head start over the rest of its rivals, certainly in a market sense. So Attrition is the one that I'd be with. Just on the map, I think at the weights as well, it probably meets them quite well too. So Attrition for me in that, I'm looking for a different form line than the Railway.
Yeah, I echo JJ's thoughts there. I think the different form line's the key. As it's JJ mentioned, the Railway just doesn't have a lot of guts to it in terms of a rating. Usually the 3-year-old races that come out of, they have a great record. I will actually mention their record. They just always run well in it. I mean, Amelia's Jules won it, KC's won it, Arcadia Queen's won it since 2018, 19, 22. Perfect Reflection 2015, and then go back to It's a Him and Playing God, the two boys as well that have won it back to 2011. But they all just run in it every year. So there's only one year when a 3-year-old was in it, 2012, when a 3-year-old actually hasn't run a placing. So that's a fantastic record overall for the profile. Doesn't guarantee you success for the future, knowing the history, but it just profiles really well for the 3-year-olds. But even this race that Storyville's coming out of, I didn't have a lot of guts to it. The start prior, probably a little bit better. But the different form line's the key. Attrition, getting beaten by Pericles, didn't have much luck at all. I've got it going sort of +5, which is positive. And the start before the 1900-metre Rose Hill race, it went +9.5. It just went through the roof. So anywhere near those numbers, I think, is good enough. And from the map that JJ predicted for Attrition, I think it'll be mighty hard to beat. That's the Group 1 set for the Northerly Stakes. Righto, final time for the year, JJ, that you have to do this. It's the SA set, obviously since the beginning of our start with PointsBet, July 20, plus 25% return on investment. I know you've sort of suggested you may have hit the skids, but we'd take it at the start. And also worth noting too for the punters out there that do follow along, it's the PointsBet SP. So obviously if you were taking the prices that JJ is taking, it'd be much higher. So we're taking sort of the rock bottom prices possible. Right at that SP at the death. So it's pretty good numbers, mate. 25% return on investment. And you are throwing some darts out this week.
No, I'm trying to get it back up to my glory years, which is a common thread throughout my life. But you were on a bit of life support the last couple of weeks. Just things haven't quite gone our way. Quite a few second placings. A couple of jockeys not helping. But I have got a few options on Saturday. So, some horses at decent odds, I think, as well. So hopefully we can get a result. I'll kick off. I'm going to avoid the first 5 races. So we're kicking off in race number 6. The horse's Old Time Rock. The Victorian viewers, or the viewers that follow Victorian racing, would know this horse. It's done a lot of its racing at Moonee Valley. It's a bit one-dimensional. It sort of sits in behind them, sort of stalks the speed, then gives a little squirt late. I think that's enough in this race to be in the finish. Now, It's about $5.56. I'd probably have, if you're having $10 on it, I'd probably have 3 a win, 7 a place. I think it's a better place bet. When I find a map bet, and this one is a map bet, I reckon it'll stalk Secret War the whole way and just sort of be in the finish somewhere. I think it's a better option to have more for the place than for the win. So that's the first one, Old Time Rock in race number 6. Race 7, Flurio Flipper. Nunez, the market's finding him. He's a good rider. He can put in a bad one. I'm hoping he puts in a good one here.
Balaclava on Wednesday.
Oh, he didn't do me a favour there. Don't know what he was thinking. But anyway, he's still learning the track, so I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. This horse he won on last start, so he knows that he's been around the parks plenty of times. Gets a big weight drop. I think it'll appreciate that. I think if they roll along, which I think they will, that sort of lightweight's going to be even more of a factor. So happy to back it each way in race number 7, Flurio Flipper. Race 8, Star Sirius. This is a horse I want to follow out of the race. It's one of the nicer horses, one of the more progressive horses in the meeting. Now, it was first up at Ballarat, got back, hit the line well, long straight at Ballarat, sweeping bend. Parks track, different track, tighter turn, shorter straight. But I just like the way it won. It sort of picked up the horse that was in front, put it away, and its last 100 metres, it was probably the best part of its race. So it only goes up an extra 50 metres, but I think Star Sirius in race 8 is going to be very hard to beat. It was a new peak first up. I think it can go to another level again. Just want to make sure that they are making ground at the parks, which I think they will. So I'm happy to tip it, Star Sirius in the 8th. And in the last race, 2-pronged attack, Carrarata and Seeking Stardom. Now, not sure if you remember, a couple of weeks ago you asked me for a horse to follow. I gave you Seeking Stardom. Now, that was after its first up run over 1200. They kept it at 1200 last start, which they probably shouldn't have done, but it was a series final, so I get why they did. Its last 150 metres was strong. It gets to 1400, probably wants 1600, but it's still a positive. So I think it can run well, Seeking Stardom. And Carrarata is a horse I have the majority of the bet on, probably a 60-40 split. Carrarata is a horse that always finishes off its races well, but it does hit a bit of a flat spot. I think going up in trip to 1400 is something I've been waiting for. I think it will really enjoy it. So I'm happy to make it the major bet in race 10, Carrarata, with the saver on Seeking Stardom. So there are 4 races. In the last, we're having a 2-pronged attack. So hopefully there's something there for all of us.
Beautiful. As you can see, the selections for JJ Set in behind me, and hopefully you can go out with a bang for 2024. Vic Set, as we start, obviously the PointsBet SP plus 42% is how we're tracking with this. Look, as I said from the top, in terms of how I think this track's going to play, I'm treading really warily. I've only had sort of the one early bet, and it is in race 2, number 3, Dream All Day. It's even money. Now, I usually don't really want to push into these kinds of races. Yes, I'm happy enough to back them, but not usually tip them. I've marked this horse at $1.65. Its number first up was just outrageous, to be honest. Now, it does stay at 1400. That's the one slight knock I could probably suggest, because I think it's probably going to be better over further. But it was well inside standard time. The last 400, 200 was just about the best of the day. It's a really nice horse, Dream All Day. This is a big money race, as was the maiden. So I think they've probably played this for this. As I said, I've marked it much shorter than that, even money, hence why I'm playing into the race. And in race 8, number 7, we put this horse in the Fox's Den last start from the Cranbourne Cup Day meeting. Savoir Faire. It was outrageously fast run race. Its last 400, 200 was a little bit soft, but I just think it's now, it was on the quick 7-day back up there, but it's only going to be its 4th run here or 3rd run this prep. I think it's still on the upward spiral, and there's just a few other horses I haven't got coming out of great rating races. I think it's going to be hard fit, and if the rain does come, I don't think it's going to be a disadvantage at all for this horse. So Savoir Faire each way in race 8. So race 2, race 8 for me at Ballarat. We're playing thinly just because we've got to keep an eye on the heavens above. Snap or don't snap time, last time for the year, 80 from 97, going at 82% strike rate in terms of predicting which way these horses will go, whether they'll firm or whether they'll ease and drift in the market. JJ, you can kick us off. You've got 2 for us at the parks.
I have. First one's in race number 2. It's a maiden. It's a pretty good maiden. There's quite a few hopes in it. Tenacity is the horse I think you'll get a better price for. It's had a few goes over in Victoria. It's sort of run well. Wouldn't say it savages the line, and I think it's got a chance. I think it's got one of probably 3 or 4 chances in the race. I think if you want to back it, which I'm sure plenty will, it's drawn quite nicely. Obviously, a good stable, Victorian form lines. I think $3.40 at the moment is probably a price you can wait on. I wouldn't be surprised if you get closer to $4 if you're happy to keep your powder dry. And in race number 6, Bristler. This horse has been a staple in this segment, and it's I don't think it's yet to win anyway. It's probably probably yet to shorten, but it always starts shorter than I've got it marked. I'm sort of the opinion that the horse has done what it's going to do, and it's probably just, I'd say, reached its level. I reckon it's probably regressed from its early stuff. So I'm more than happy to risk it. It's still $5. It's still pretty hard in the market. So if you like something around Bristler, I'd be happy to back it. I think Bristler's a risk at the $5 on offer.
There's the two for the Parks. I've got three. The first one comes up in race 3. It's called Cleo Cat. 4 from 4. Outstanding record. Can't really knock it. And it's been sort of $5.50 into that $3.90 mark right now with PointsBet. But I just think it's now reached its tipping point and might have found its level. I think you're going to get a better price on Saturday. I think it's going to be popular, no doubt. But I think you can just wait. I think you'll get a better price at some stage throughout the day on Saturday and take a bit better of the price than offer right now. Fishing in race 6. Again, this horse is going really well, but just stepping up in distance. I think it's more of a sort of 955 1,000-metre horse. Just getting up in distance. I know it draws cute and might get a good run through, but it's deep into the prep, around that $6 mark. I think there's a bit more guts to this race than we can sort of see in the market right now. So I think you're going to get a better price about Fishing. And then we go to the last race. Now, this has been fascinating from a market perspective. It's been $10 into $2.90. From Wednesday night to Thursday morning. Now, if this horse had stayed $10 as we're doing this show Thursday morning, this would have been in my set. Cracking bet at $10. But it's just been over bet now. It's just absolutely outrageous. Huge number last start. I get all that. It gets into the field. There's been a couple of scratchings. Wide gate might not be an issue. Probably rolls forward. But $2.90. It's almost like they saw the dog. It was at school and then they just wanted to continue to feed it and feed it and feed it. When all you needed to do was pat it at the start and then go on and go about your business and play Foursquare. So a bit worried about Flying Fizz at that $2.90. Yes, great winning chance. But I think for the punters, there's no need to be backing it and charging into it now. Wait till the death. I think you'll get better than that $2.90. That's the snap or don't snap. Last time for 2024. Pin the tail on the Fox. The scoreline is 12-8 after JJ hit one back with Zombie Missile last start, which, I mean, you were blowing up like 2 weeks or 3 weeks ago. Don't give me those squinty eye. Oh, fair income. That, you know, the traders I might have been in the year. I wouldn't have been surprised. It was sort of 310, 320, 330
You reckon they've turned
exchange.
on you? Is that what you think? They've turned on you, have they?
Maybe. Anyway, your suggestion was $2.59 after deductions. Mine was $3.44. The SP at PointsBet ended up being $2.70, so you get the chocolates there. Well done. It is now 12-8. We decided that was in Adelaide to get you back to a respectable point of score. Now we stay over in Adelaide, a horse you spoke earlier about, Carrarata. I've got that rating actually going really well, but I just thought there's some depth to this race. I've marked it $5 with not a lot of analytical guts around it, whereas you're going to have a lot more. But your price is actually very close to mine, so this could be a close one.
I reckon it'll jump about 460. It is racing well, but this is easily the race of the day in South Australia. There's 4 or 5 that people would come into this meeting thinking, I've been following this horse, I'm really keen to back it. It's going to be a good race, but I think Carrarata's got a really good chance. Obviously, it's one of the 2 plays in the race in my set, but I've got it marked 460. So hopefully it can just start under 480 and we'll all be happy.
Yep, no, we'll definitely all be happy with that. What we might do is we might make this one worth 4, JJ. So if you win...
No, I don't want your charity. I don't want your charity. And I'll tell you what else I don't want, is your analogies. the patting the dog and the foot. I reckon
let's get to the
Parkinson
place
who said that
day.
first, I think.
He's dead. Place of the day. I'm going to kick off. As I said, I don't really like tipping these horses at this price, but it's just because I've marked it so much shorter. Early in the day, a horse called Dream All Day, outstanding first up. I know it stays at 1,400 metres, and that's probably the slight knock, but I still think in this smallish field can settle close enough from that gate. And as I've stated, I've mentioned it, I've marked it $1.65, so I think that Black Figures is a good price about Dream All Day early at Ballarat. And you go to where?
I'm race 8. Now,
Yep.
This is a horse, Star Sirius is the horse. It's sort of about that $4 quote. I don't think you need to dive in and back it now. I think we want to see horses making ground at the Parks track. It's in race 8, so you're going to have 7 reference points, possibly 7, to look at before you pull the trigger. You just want to make sure they are making ground off the fence. They have been the last probably 4 or 5 meetings in this similar spot. But if the track people do something, strange to try and correct that, we never know. But I think so long as you can make ground, I reckon Star Sirius has got a great chance in race 8. But as I said, there's no real need to dive in early. I don't think it's going to be off the map. Super Lana will go forward and it's short enough in the market. It'll probably hold its spot. So we can wait and see what they're doing. And maybe after race 3, 4, 5, you might see a few start swooping out wide. If that's the case, have something on Star Sirius in race 8. I think it'll be charging late.
All right, so they are the plays of the day for Morphettville Parks and Ballarat this week. Okay, exotic fox time. No more exotic fox than Mr. Todd from Peter Rabbit gets around in a coat, smokes a pipe and can't find rabbit. So I don't know how he actually still exists, because the whole premise of the show is for him to be eating, obviously, rabbits and anything else he comes across, but he doesn't seem to catch any of them. He seems quite bumbling and a fool, but yet he seems to last all season. So I don't really know what else he is nibbling on to get through. Can't even find the frog, Mr. Fisher, who's very, very struggling. But anyway, 3 p.m. hourly Quaddie Saturday this week for PointsBet. We've struggled here a little bit. Obviously, you were the missing link last week, which just seems to be the consistent. Yeah, well. Ballarat, race 6. Got to go wide here a little bit, and there could be a couple of scratchings because there's a couple of emergencies involved in this, but this is our starting point, punters. 1, 7, 14, 15, 19, 20. Then we skinny it right up because we go to Adelaide, and JJ's got race 6.
Yeah, I'm 1, 2, 6, 9. But I might add, I've had a good run of this. You had the field a couple of weeks ago and missed. So,
Just the numbers, mate.
Yeah, 1, 2, 6.
Don't need the life story. Rose Hill, race 6, 1, 2, 8. It's our nemesis, Rose Hill. It's our nemesis, New South Wales, but it's the final one of the year. We're going to get back with a vengeance. And then we're going up to Eagle Farm. This is very quick. This is overdone in 30 minutes. This is why we love this product. It's bang, 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 bang. Good bang for your buck. Race 5, Eagle Farm, 1, 3, 10. We're getting it this week, punters. Have faith. Believe. Our moment of truth will be upon us. That's the show. Thanks for 2024, JJ. It was good fun. Thanks to PointsBet. Thanks to all the crew that got involved. Zero Tackle, all those guys and gals. Everyone behind the scenes done a fantastic job. Very supportive. Can't wait for 2025. See you on the flip side.
Echo your thoughts. Thanks, everyone. Thanks for watching as well.
Bye. G'day punters, that was the last episode of the Jules and JJ show for the year. On behalf of JJ and myself, thanks for getting involved. Really appreciated all your feedback. Obviously we'll be back next year. Some different segments. You got any ideas, throw it our way, but get out in the sun, get to the beach, have some fun. See you next year.
Imagine what you could be buying instead.
For free and confidential support, call the number on the screen or visit the website.